So I get tons of questions about fueling strategies for endurance-based workout. I'm currently planning a really cool trip to Alaska in June for 60 miles over about a 48-hour period. Starting the training today, it's mid-February. It's about 9 in the morning. My planned hike is for 10 a.m. So let's talk through the pre, during, and post-workout nutrition. All right, so key with pre is you're aiming for about 1 gram of carbohydrate, give or take, for each active minute that you plan to be active. Now we're talking moderate intensity on something like this. So for me, today's a 60-minute hike, so I've got about 60 grams carbohydrate planned for something like this. So when you think about that, I'm going to show you in a minute what it is. When you think about that, I think it's easiest just to break it up into carb choices. About 15 grams of carbs equals one choice. It just makes it easier to say, I get 4 choices, right? So here's what my choices are. Got about 30 grams of carbohydrate based in oatmeal, fruit, as well as a little bit of yogurt. I tend to put cinnamon and syrup on my oats simply because I don't like the plain taste of oats, so it adds some variety to it. All right, so here we are, 11 a.m. Getting ready to start the hike. Ate what you saw a little bit ago, about 2.5 hours ago. I do bring a little package of these in case I do feel a dip in blood sugar, but it's only 60 minutes. Pretty light in the pack, so should be no issue. Won't take any fuel on this. You'll see though that as time goes on, hikes get longer, I will bring something. So we'll talk about kind of what the intervals are for that, how much, how often, and what that is. So here we go. Steep little section, but definitely worth the view. 50 minutes in, heading back down to the truck, feeling good. All right, so into the hike, hour in, no fuel during the hike. And again, if you remember me referencing earlier about, why I was targeting 45 grams or 60 grams or whatever, it's really that equation of expending 1 gram of carbohydrate per minute that you're active. 60-minute hike, 60 grams of carbs before the hike doesn't require anything. Now, if I was going to be pushing it more than 60 minutes, then I would probably need something. So we'll talk more in the future videos about what that looks like if you are in the middle of a hike and what type of fuel you need, when you need it, etc. But no fuel needed if something's less than 60 minutes. So the one thing we really haven't talked about yet is, what does the post-workout nutrition look like? What should you be trying to refuel with, and why does that matter? Now, we've got like different ratios that we tell people to hit. For example, one that commonly comes up is a 4-to-1 ratio. For every 4 grams of carbohydrate, include 1 gram of protein, which for no math majors out there, that's 40 grams of carbs, 10 grams of protein. And that's good. But I think what I tend to focus on more is simplifying it by just ensuring that you're getting enough recovery fuel. We do know that timing matters. If you get something in within 120 minutes or 2 hours of your workout, your carb restoration inside of your muscles tends to double. So it's worth hitting that time metric, right? The one thing that you could space out and play with is simply what I've got outlined in these boxes. You'll see that I've got basically a quarter of my plate distributed to protein, starch, salads. Now, training wasn't that hard today. It was 60 minutes. My body's pretty adjusted to that. It wasn't real challenging for me. It might be for others. But you'll see as the intensity increases, as the time increases, as the volume increases, as the challenge increases for me, that section of carbohydrate will continue to grow to restore what I've been using. And that section of salad might go down more. It's not because salad's unimportant, it's just that my needs have changed. So, yes, there's ratios, yes, there's timing, yes, there's some of these things, but unless you're really trying to target some sort of a PR, for example, just being close is going to get you most of the way through your battle. So, I hope that you have just enjoyed this series of being able to watch like what the pre-nutrition looks like relative to post, relative to intra, and what some of those factors are. So in summary, again, pre-nutrition, about a couple hours before your hike, you basically want to prepare fuel with 50 to 75 grams of carbohydrate. You'll find out later what intra fueling looks like as we start to tease out what it looks like as the time gets longer, as the distance gets longer. And then finally, we've recovered some post workout nutrition as well. If you get interested or if you've got questions, please feel free to send me an email at info
at v2pnutrition.com, or you can check out our podcast where we've talked about this topic in depth, specifically that intra-fueling piece that we didn't cover here. Hope you enjoyed it. Come back soon.